In today's video, it's Crocktober at the Dollar Tree. Hey guys, and welcome to another exciting episode of Meals with Maria. I'm so excited for this because this is the first episode in a new series on my channel called $5 Fridays. Each Friday, I will be bringing you $5 meal ideas, $5 snack ideas, $5 lunch ideas. Anything that I can make with $5, I'm going to try and do that for you. I'm going to try and be creative and show you how you can stretch a dollar further in your daily life. In this series, I will be primarily shopping at either Dollar Tree, Walmart, or Aldi, because that is what is in my area. And I know that those are places that most people have nearby. I think Aldi's the toughest one where not everybody has one. But we'll try our best here. Aldi is definitely very, very helpful when you do have one. Today it is Crocktober at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to be bringing you 3 Crockpot meals, 5 ingredients or less, so that is $5 or less at the Dollar Tree. And yes, I use Dollar Tree meat. I went there. I did not use it as a main ingredient. We used steak in a beef and broccoli, and it actually turned out really good. Would I recommend that you use Dollar Tree steak and have it with a glass of wine and some mashed potatoes? Absolutely not. Don't do that. But in a beef and broccoli, it works. So you just have to take what you have and utilize it in a way that will work for you and your family. All right, guys, let's go to the meals. So heading into the Dollar Tree, I had an idea of what I wanted to get, but I definitely wanted to look around and see what they had. Just starting in the freezer section, if you wanted to grab something for dessert, they do have like these ices. And then also interested in the dollar freezer meals. I figure you could technically eat one of those each night a week. And if you wanted to do, all 5 Monday through Friday, you could do that for $5. Saw these veggie meatballs. I thought that's interesting. Probably not going to use it in this video, but I was surprised to see those at the Dollar Tree, just in general. They also have chicken nuggets, which I didn't really take a look at fully, but I know that my kids like to eat chicken nuggets for lunches and dinners, so that's an option in the future if you need a really good budget idea for your kids. Here I found the steak. I definitely had the beef and broccoli idea, but I was just trying to decide what type of meat I really wanted to use. I do see these chicken strips, and I have an idea for these in a video coming up, so I'm kind of excited about that. Also saw those pot stickers, and I absolutely love fried rice as a budget meal, so I was thinking, gee, those would be really good to serve with fried rice, and I feel like we could get a $5 meal out of that in the future too. Just checking out our frozen veggies, because that's where we're going to get all of our healthy veggies for the week, is in the freezer section, since there's a new produce section at the Dollar Tree. Here we have the ravioli and the Texas toast. Now, I'm not buying this, but I'm really surprised to see riced cauliflower. That is definitely a good rice alternative if you're trying to go low carb. I was so excited to find cream cheese, and it was weird because there was 2 sizes here. One is definitely larger, and they're both $1, so as I do, I got the larger size. Going back for a second time, I did decide to go with the beef patties as my choice for ground beef in my cheeseburger mac. And then looking at cheese, they have a lot of different options. I've gotten the shreds before, but I was not a huge fan. I did almost go with this Figaro cheddar, but I discovered later that these cheese sticks are 4 ounces versus these Figaro, I think, are only 3 something. So definitely go with the block cheese and then shred it at home because it's a much better deal. I ended up purchasing Monterey Jack for my cheeseburger mac and some mozzarella for my ravioli lasagna. Here in the pasta section, I really wanted macaroni, but buying just mac and cheese was not going to be a good deal. I ended up going with a 20-ounce box of penne because even though I didn't even need all of it, I can save it for another time, and I'm saving money that way. In the rice section, we have the same deal here. There's yellow rice, there is some jasmine rice, and then there's this 2-pound bag of rice. And since it's 2 pounds, that's what I'm getting. Over here, I'm looking for my teriyaki sauce, and I ended up just using the teriyaki I had at home. They did have soy sauce this time, but my plan to make the beef and broccoli really needed something sweeter than just soy sauce. So I ended up just using the teriyaki I had at home. I do know they usually sell it here, though. All right, we are back at home and it's time to make our first recipe. The first thing I am making is a ravioli lasagna. I'm using 1 can of Hunt's herb and garlic sauce, 2 containers of Petey's frozen raviolis. They're 13 ounces each. The recipe I used called for 25 ounces, so it ended up perfect. And then 4 ounces of shredded mozzarella. I'm just going to shred that up on a box grater. I was cleaning out my closet and I found these slow cooker liners, and I bought them probably 3 years ago and I've always meant to use them. So I stuffed them in my slow cooker and I said, this time I'm going to try them out. And you'll notice that I use them for every recipe in this video. I will link some down below for you. If you're not already using them, remember to buy them, remember to use them. They are awesome. I'm just going to start off by putting about a 1/4 cup of the sauce on the bottom of the slow cooker, and then I am placing the frozen raviolis right in the pan. The awesome thing about this recipe is that you can just use the raviolis frozen. There is no prep work here. Then about half of the leftover red sauce, and then repeat with the layers, top with the remaining sauce and shredded mozzarella. Then just cover it up and put it on low for 4 hours. Once my ravioli is ready, I'm just going to cook our Texas toast according to the instructions on the package. It's super easy, just remember to pop it in and you can serve it right alongside your ravioli lasagna. This turned out so good. I had been wanting to make this recipe for like 3 years, just like using those Crockpot liners, and it just turned out amazing. I was really surprised by how much the ravioli expanded and fluffed up to make this like full-on fluffy lasagna meal. My husband loved it. My kids loved it. I mean, we can't really go wrong with red sauce and cheese, but it was really a great meal for the family and super inexpensive and just something different. So much easier than making lasagna too. The next meal is our slow cooker beef and broccoli. This is super easy. I'm just using this ribeye steak. I'm going to slice it up and place it in the crock pot with the frozen broccoli and the teriyaki sauce. I just cooked this on high for 3 hours and it turned out perfectly. I didn't mention before, but I used about 1/3 of the whole container of teriyaki. You can see that it's a little bit thinner than maybe I would have liked, but once I served it over rice, the rice soaked up all of the sauce and gave it all the flavor that it needed. So it really turned out perfectly. I've used this method before with steak from any grocery store, and it turned out really similar. It was really good, really flavorful, definitely an easy weeknight meal, and I would recommend it in the future. You could definitely make this with chicken, and if you have it, put some sesame seeds, or if you like some heat, sriracha over the top as well. For my final meal, we will be making cheeseburger mac. I did end up buying these ground beef patties, which I'm going to cook on the stove and break up and just turn into regular ground beef. And then I am using this penne because I could not find any macaroni shape. I also have these diced tomatoes, some cream cheese, and I'll be shredding this Monterey Jack cheese to add to the whole thing. So first thing I'm going to do is cook up my ground beef using this little ground beef musher tool. I did look into what's in these ground beef patties because they don't look red like a regular ground beef, and they do contain some soy. I did add about 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, garlic powder, salt, and pepper just to give some flavor. Many of the recipes I looked at included onions, so since I didn't have those, I was going to use the spice. You totally don't have to use Dollar Tree beef patties for this. Depending on the prices in your area, you may be able to find ground beef for a lower price. I know I got some at $1.57 a pound a couple weeks ago. I just drained off the grease and put this into my crock pot. Another alternative to beef would be broccoli or maybe even some beans. I think black beans would do just fine in this as well. Just want to put the cream cheese, the diced tomatoes. I did get diced tomatoes with onions and peppers. I'm not really sure if it made a huge difference. I cooked that on high for 3 hours and then shredded my Monterey Jack cheese as well as cooked my pasta. There were some recipes that included pasta cooking in the crock pot. I just wasn't really sure about that, so I cooked it on the side. Those recipes did include beef broth so that the mixture turned out a lot more watery at the end, and then the pasta was able to absorb the water. You're more than welcome to experiment if you think that that's a good idea for you. So I just mix my cooked pasta into the mixture that already has the beef, tomato, and cream cheese. And last thing is to add our Monterey Jack cheese. It turned out so creamy and delicious and so cheesy. My kids absolutely love this. This is like macaroni and cheese for them. I thought it was really great, and I actually look forward to making it again, maybe with broccoli or black beans, and trying different protein options. It was such a great lunch, and I fed it to my kids, and we will actually have plenty of leftovers because this is a lot of food, so this will feed a family of 4 and then some. It is definitely a great budget meal. All right, guys, that concludes the first episode of $5 Fridays. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it that thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you never miss any of those $5 meal ideas that I've got coming up in here. I hope this gave you some inspiration for you and your family. If you like Dollar Tree meal ideas, I do actually have a couple other Dollar Tree videos, so I will post those down below if you would like to watch those as well. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye. $5 Fridays. Is that like a...